Chapter 16. I'll kill you the next time I see you. Time passed quickly, and during these 2 days, Lin Xiu used Lo Ye's long sword and kept killing those evolved beasts under her instructions. This woman was terrifying. She was young, but she had an exceptional understanding of the habits of all kinds of evolved beasts and the ways in which they attacked. Lin Xiu couldn't ever remember how many evolved beasts he had killed in total. 2 days later, in the early morning, Lin Xiu had reached level 9. He instinctively pulled out the attributes board in his head. Host, Lin Xiu, level 9, experience 11,280, 1,008 experience required for the next level. Strength 67, Physique 40, Speed 40, Skill Analytic Eye, Rage Build Up 0 out of 100, Overall Combat Strength 588. Do you want these odd crystals? Lin Xiu held a small sack with many odd crystals inside. Lo Ye shook her head. At this moment she was almost fully recovered and was even more indifferent. Where are you going? Seeing that she was walking in another direction with her long sword, Lin Xiu asked. After spending a few days together, Lin Xiu knew that she was only called on the surface. Lightning Leopard, Lo Ye answered after a pause. You're still going to kill that thing? Lin Xiu had a headache just thinking about that lightning leopard. I won't fail, said Lo Ye indifferently. After recovering her strength, she appeared very terrifying. Also, I'll kill you the next time I see you. Lo Ye spoke as she walked in the other direction. What do you mean? Lin Xiu was stunned and his eyes widened. This woman was beating the hand that fed her. Lo Ye didn't speak. She knew that because of what happened that night, Lin Xiu had left a shadow in her heart. But she had to cultivate quickly and stay focused. Where are we meeting next? Lin Xiu shouted in her direction. But there wasn't any reply. However, after a minute of silence, there was a faint sound coming from the distance. Sacred ground. Sacred ground? Where is that place? When Lin Xiu returned to his senses, she had already disappeared. Lin Xiu shook his head and hung that small sack around him, then headed in the other direction. After these few days of fighting, there were slight changes to him. He had become more determined, and his agility had improved. It was also easier to deal with ordinary evolved beasts, but he still had to be wary. There weren't many high-ranking evolved beasts around here, but there were still some. With a slightly rusty battle blade in his hands, Lin Xiu went deeper into the forest. According to his current strength, he could climb up the vines from the cliffs and should be able to return to the place just now. Lin Xiu continued walking in that direction carefully, and soon he reached the area with the river. At this moment, Lin Xiu became more and more cautious. While killing evolved beasts these 2 days, he was also on his guard against those people from that night. After all, that adventure team had 5 to 6 people, and they were all rank 1 warriors, and their leader was even a rank 2 warrior. By noon, he realized that he was about to reach the place where he cooked a fish, and there seemed to be some noises. Lin Xiu knitted his brows. Is that an evolved beast or a human? He thought about it and still made his way over carefully. Just then, a cold light flashed by. Lin Xiu's pupils constricted and he quickly bent over and dodged. Swish! A tuft of hair was chopped off. "Hey, you sent yourself here," Li Hong sneered. He was one of the warriors from that night, often thinking about how he got frightened by a beginner warrior like Lin Xiu. He was enraged. Lin Xiu's eyes glanced around and he realized that Li Hong was alone. He became relaxed in an instant. As long as he wasn't a rank 2 warrior, Lin Xiu might have a chance. The long sword in Li Hong's hand was like a snake, and it swung at Lin Xiu. Lin Xiu used his battle blade to block directly. Dang! There was a loud sound as the metals collided, and the rust on the battle blade fell off quite a bit. The long sword continued brandishing towards Lin Xiu like a snake, and its sharp tip kept swaying. If one's hand got pierced, the flesh on their hand would probably fall off. It was ruthless. Bronze skill, spitting white snake. Lin Hong laughed sinisterly as he looked at his long sword wrapping around Lin Xiu's blade like a snake and kept stabbing Lin Xiu's hand. At this moment, unless Lin Xiu threw his own weapon away, his hand would be chopped off. Lin Xiu also sensed the danger, and raising his brows, then lifted his leg and kicked Lin Hong in the stomach. Minor accomplishment. Li Hong scoffed, and his left hand blocked his abdomen immediately. As a rank 1 warrior, his physical attribute was pretty good, so it was impossible for Lin Xiu's kick to cause any injury to him. However, something unexpected happened. A cracking sound rang out from that left hand that blocked Lin Xiu's kick. It was fractured. The sharp pain made Li Hong's face a sheen, and that long sword, which was wrapped around Lin Xiu's blade, was immediately redrawn. How could it be? A beginner warrior who didn't even know any skill actually fractured his left hand with a kick? How strong was he? Li Hong had a hint of menace in his eyes. He underestimated his opponent and got his hand fractured. He wouldn't make the same mistake again this time. After all, Li Xiu was a beginner warrior, and even if Li Hong's left hand was fractured, Li Xiu wouldn't be able to kill him. Li Hong handled the long sword with his right hand, and just as Lin Xiu was about to take this chance to attack, Lin Hong slashed his long swords at him. He moved very quickly and managed to stab Lin Xiu's chest. Sila! Lin Xiu had a tear on his battle robe and a fresh blood seeped out. Hitting his target with just one move, Li Hong regained his confidence. Lin Xiu was just a beginner warrior and wasn't a match for him at all. However, Lin Xiu's reaction was quite swift, and each time his long sword was about to strike his vital part, Lin Xiu would dodge. He merely got attacked at insignificant areas. Feel like Lin Xiu was intentionally letting him strike. Go to hell! After missing his target so many times, Li Hong was enraged. But all of a sudden, Lin Xiu, who had been dodging the attacks, directly swung his battle blade at Li Hong. Hey, you think you can chop me to death with that rusty blade? Huh!